Hey guys, welcome back to another Clash Royale video, and today we're gonna be doing things a little bit different. We're gonna be doing a ranking video, ranking every single card in Clash Royale updated for the 2021 meta. This is gonna be a video based on my personal opinion of cards, as well as the win rates and use rates provided by Royale API. I figured it's been quite a while since my last power ranking video, so I would give you guys an updated list for the current meta. If you guys enjoy these kind of different style of videos and you want to see more, make sure you let me know in those comments down below. But let's go ahead right now and jump right into it. I already have the power list pulled up right here. We have 5 different tiers on our list over here, ranging from S tier, aka overpowered, needing a nerf, all the way down to D tier. This is where the weakest cards in the game are. These cards down here could either use a rework or a buff. And then in the middle, we have A, B, and C. B tier is basically your baseline for a good card in Clash Royale that does what it's supposed to do, but isn't overpowered or weak. A tier means slightly stronger than the baseline average, and C tier means slightly below the baseline average in terms of power ranking. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So first things first, we have ourselves the Knight over here with a magnificent mustache, I gotta say. And the Knight, in my opinion, is an S tier card, very, very strong in the current meta. Basically, the amount of value you can get for a 3 elixir cost card is absolutely insane. Watching a 3 elixir Knight actually destroy a Mega Knight is absurd, making it an S tier card in my opinion. Next, we have the Bats over here. The Bats are kind of borderline right now between S tier and A tier. I'm gonna throw them in A tier. I don't think they're as oppressive, as powerful as they once were before they were nerfed many balances ago, but they were, I believe, buffed in the last balance update, and they are currently a very strong card in Clash Royale, and I would say an A tier card, maybe potentially S tier, but I'm gonna throw them in A tier today. Battle Ram definitely is an average slash good card, does what it's supposed to do, isn't overpowered, isn't weak, basically works in a couple of strategies, and yeah, basically a B tier card. Same thing with arrows. For a spell, they do what they're supposed to. They aren't overpowered. I don't think they're overly weak. Obviously, they are a bit outshined by things like poisons and fireballs, but for certain strategies, the arrows are a bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw them into the B tier over here. Valkyrie, same thing, B tier. Basically does what she's supposed to do, but currently is outshined by the Knight. For 1 less elixir, is just a very effective elixir cost card. Executioner over here. Personally, I think Executioner is slightly below average, maybe down into D tier as well. It costs 5 elixir, has a very slow attack speed, very low range for a splash damage range attacker, and is very easily overwhelmed or countered for a positive elixir trade. So I think the Executioner could use a bit of love in Clash Royale. However, don't go crazy overboard like it was, I think it was 2019, when they bought the Executioner damage by like 200%, and it was actually insane. But I definitely could see some love for the Executioner, hopefully in a balance update in the future. Now, Miner. This is a controversial card because some players think it's S tier and some players think it's A tier. Personally, I think the Miner is now in the A tier section. It is a very strong card, but I don't think it's borderline overpowered or needing of an immediate nerf. It basically works in a wide variety of strategies. It can work as a win condition, it can work as a support unit, but like I said before, with the recent nerf, I think a couple of bounces ago, it is no longer an S tier card. So moving on over here, guys, we have the lovely Sparky. Sparky, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in B tier. Ever since they changed that first hit speed with the Sparky, attacking, I believe, 1 second slower for his first attack speed, it just kind of feels awkward to use. Watching a fully charged Sparky stand there for a few seconds before shooting every single time on the initial attack is a little bit awkward in my opinion, and I think the Sparky, it definitely belongs on the B tier. Pekka, honestly, Pekka is one of those cards that by itself is balanced, but largely depends on the meta. And currently, we have a lot of balloons in the meta, a lot of Royal Hogs, a lot of Royal Recruits, and also a lot of fast cycle spamming decks with Wall Breakers, Bats, Skeleton Barrels, Goblin Barrels, stuff like that. So I think in the current meta, the Pekka just does not excel very well at all. Fireball over here. definitely is a strong card. Obviously, it's not S tier, but out of all the spells in the game, Fireball is one of the most effective. When you have a meta that's dominated by things like Royal Hogs and Balloons, the Fireball is very, very effective. Also, the knockback against the Balloon is very effective as well. You can literally use a Fireball by itself to counter a balloon if you time it correctly, making it a very versatile spell in Clash Royale. Royal Giant, I would say Royal Giant is average slash good. Obviously, there are a couple of top tier meta strategies that do have the Royal Giant in there, but I don't think it's the Royal Giant that makes those strategies overpowered, because the Royal Giant kind of largely depends on the meta and what kind of support cards are strong or not strong. For example, when the Fisherman was not very strong, the RG wasn't very effective as well. But now that Fisherman is very, very good in the meta, it kind of brings the RG up. But I think RG by itself is an average slash good card. Ice Wizard over here, I would say borderline between strong and average slash good. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in the strong list just because the Ice Wizard basically is always paired up with NATO anyways. Does a lot of work, defense and offense, utility, 3 elixir cost, slow, offers so much versatility in a strategy, and just excels in a wide variety of decks. Free spell over here, I would say is below average. I don't think it's quite needing of a rework or a buff. There are a couple strategies that do utilize the free spell effectively, but overall it's kind of a niche card in the game. Lightning spell, I would say is average slash good. Wall breakers for sure. S tier in my opinion. Very, very strong 2 elixir cost card. Like literally 1 wall breaker by itself into your tower is many hundreds of damage to your tower. You can easily split them up in the middle of the river, going both sides of the arena, forcing out a higher elixir response from your opponent. And honestly, for 2 elixir, they're so fast, they slip by basically anything your opponent uses on defense, and they always demand an immediate response as well. And I think the wall breakers are definitely an S tier card in the game right now. Next, we have the Prince over here. I think Prince is average slash good. Goblin Gang, I'm going to throw in an A tier slash strong. There are a wide variety of decks that use the Goblin Gang effectively. Very, very strong in bait, but also useful in other strategies that aren't as bait heavy as well. Mother Witch. Oh, the Mother Witch. Where do we begin here? I kind of feel bad for this card because she is the newest legendary card in the game. And in my opinion, now that we have card level boost, and basically everyone has access to the new cards at their King Tower levels, I feel like they should make new cards strong. Otherwise, what's the point of having a new card in the game? Unfortunately, that's not the case with Mother Witch. She is currently one of the weakest cards in the game. And I gotta say, I'm a little surprised she hasn't been emergency buffed already, considering she is the newest card and a legendary card in the game. Similar to the Mother Witch, which is a very, very weak card. According to the website Royale API, has some of the lowest win rates in the entire game. She's very, very hard to ever get value for her. So hopefully we see some sort of rework or buff for the Witch in the future. Although, once again, similar to the Executioner, not quite as crazy as I think 2019, where she was dominant and destroying the meta back in fall of 2019. So hopefully not quite that crazy. Ice Spirit, I'm going to throw in A tier. Very, very effective cycle card in Clash Royale right now. Basically has a ton of utility. Will stop charging princes. Will reset Sparkies, Inferno Towers, Inferno Dragons. Can be used on offense and defense. And for 1 elixir, is basically almost always guaranteed value for the elixir cost. Similarly, Ice Golem, I'm going to throw in strong as well. For a fast cycle card, a ton of utility. You can pull enemy units to opposite lanes. You can distract. You can destroy things like skeletons or bats with the Ice Golem Death Nova. And it's just overall a very strong card, although not overpowered. Firecracker, I would say Firecracker is slightly below average now. Ever since they nerfed her way back when, she just hasn't had the same chance in the meta and could use a slight buff in my opinion. Barbarians, gonna be good slash average. Fly Machine, same thing, good slash average. Rascals over here, similarly to the Fly Machine, average slash good. Poison, I would say, is a strong card, a ton of versatility, does well against Swarm, against Graveyards. However, in the current meta, is a little bit outshined by the Fireball, just because of things like Balloon and Royal Hogs being so dominant. Hog Rider, I would say, is average slash good. Log Spell, definitely a strong card, just with the utility of damaging enemy towers, knocking everything back. Fast Cycle is a very strong spell in Clash Royale. Golem here, I would say, is B tier, average. Honestly, Golem decks might be dominant in the meta, but largely that's because of the support cards, not the actual Golem itself. So I think Golem is good, but I don't think Golem is like stronger than average or even overpowered. I think the Golem is basically where it needs to be power-wise. E-Wizard, I still consider the E-Wizard an A tier / strong card, despite the recent nerf that it got as well. Dark Goblin, I would say, is average good. Electro Giant is honestly average good. It can feel very, very strong in certain matchups. For example, if your opponent has Swarm or things like Infernal Dragons, the E-Giant can dominate, but against other strategies, it feels very, very weak. Barbarian, yo, all the spawners for the most part are kind of like down here. Honestly, I would say below average, maybe even D tier for most of the spawners, but I don't think we really want to see a meta where these spawners return. So I'm going to throw it on C tier. Also, we have Zappy over here. Going to throw that into the A tier list. The Electro Golem, below average, just in the current meta, and just overall just isn't very good. And then we have Goblins, once again, going to be A tier strong, very, very fast cycle card. Graveyard, I think, is a strong win condition, isn't as overpowered as it used to be, courtesy of the last nerf that it received. However, still is one of the strongest win conditions in the game, in my opinion, therefore going on the A tier of our list. Bomb Tower, I want to throw on S tier. I think Bomb Tower is currently the strongest building in the game, hands down, and just offers a ton of utility, has high health, does a ton of splash damage, and has a death bomb as well. And it's just overly powerful in Clash Royale right now. So if you guys are having a hard time defending, try throwing in a Bomb Tower into your deck. Very, very effective card. Mega Knight, I think, is an average / good card. I don't think it's overpowered. I don't think it's weak. It does what it's supposed to do effectively, but isn't overly powered. So therefore, B tier on our list. Same thing with Rocket. Ever since the spell nerf a while ago, Rocket, I think, is going to be a B tier / average card. Healer is anywhere from between below average. So let's go ahead and throw the Healer into the B tier list. Clone Spell, below average, to be honest. Maybe even average. Like, the Clone Spell works in certain strategies, but it's very, very much matchup dependent. It largely relies on your opponent not having enough splash damage in their strategy. If they have things like poisons, nados, stuff like that, it's very, very hard to use. But if they don't, it can actually dominate. So I think the Clone Spell is average. Zappy's over here. Zappy's honestly might even be A tier. Split lane pressure, reset ability, defense and offense. I think Zappies are a strong card in the game. One of the low-key strong cards as well. Mirror definitely needs a buff or a rework. There's basically no meta decks that have used Mirror in a very long time. Kind of just a trolley card in the game. Expo, unfortunately, because of certain changes in the game with the Expo redesign and the Earthquake being strong, Expo, I believe, is below average for a win condition. Fishy Boy. Fishy Boy I consider to be an S card. I think Fishy Boy, maybe an argument can be made for an A tier, but I think Fishy Boy is just very, very effective, has so much utility, can be used as a mini tank, can be used to counter things like princes or bandits, can be used to pull things away from your tower like golems or hog raiders, can be used to pull things away from your win conditions like Pekkas or stuff like that. Just overall, Fishy Boy is a very strong card, in my opinion. Same thing with Barb Barrel, a ton of utility. Barb Barrel, you know, an argument can be made. Let's throw it in A tier here. It's not too overpowered, but it definitely is one of the best spells in the game, for sure. Because you have the utility of destroying Swarm, plus you have the mini tank as well, which can be used to assassinate range support behind a tank. Bowler, unfortunately, is a bit below average. Magic Archer, going to be an average / good card. Mini Pekka, same thing, average / good. Minions, average / good. Earthquake. I think Earthquake is still an S tier card, despite the kind of emergency rework in February. I think the Earthquake is still an S tier card, destroys enemy buildings, can be used to cycle spell damage to a tower, and it's just overall very, very effective. Guards, gonna be average / good. Fire Spirits need a buff / rework. Dark Prince, average / good. Maybe even A tier strong, but let's throw it in average. Electro Giant, B tier as well. Heal Spirit, definitely D tier. I think they nerfed the Heal Spirit the wrong way back when they did. They reduced the Heal Spirit damage to the point that it no longer destroyed skeletons or bats in one shot. In fact, I believe the Heal Spirit is literally the only thing in the game that doesn't destroy, besides Expo, that doesn't destroy skeletons or bats in one shot. And overall, It just makes me wonder, why would you even use a heal spirit in your deck? Basically, the damage has no purpose at all if it can't even destroy skeletons, so I think heal spirit desperately needs a buff as well. Ram Rider is going to be B tier, average / good. Archer's B tier, average good. Inferno Dragon, average good, isn't overpowered, basically does what it's supposed to do very effectively. NATO, definitely A tier, maybe even borderline S tier. NATO is a very catch-all defense, pull everything together, no skill required, pull everything together and just destroy their push with splash damage. It is honestly borderline even S tier for needing a nerf, because you also have the utility of being able to pull things to your King Tower and activating it early. So I think it's up to discussion if it's S tier or A tier, but I'm throwing it in A tier for today's video. We have the Royal Ghost, going to be a B tier average card. Goblin Barrel by itself isn't overpowered. Basically, I would say it's a balanced card, but certain things in the meta right now, like wall breakers, cannon card, bomb towers, make the Goblin Barrel seem stronger than it currently is, just because fast cycle spam bait seems to be very, very strong in the current meta. Goblin Giant is B tier / average / good. Cannon, below average, but although not D tier. Electro Spirit is A tier for sure. I think the Electro Spirit is a cool card in the game, and I hope it doesn't get nerfed, and therefore it's on the A tier of my list. I just don't think it's as OP as some of the other cards in the game right now. So E-Spirit's on the A tier. Musketeer gonna be B tier. Hunter for sure. Hunty Boy, S tier. One of the, if not the single strongest card in the game right now, in my opinion. It basically does everything you would ever need in one card. It has range support, air defense, high damage output for both ground and air tanks, splash damage, and so much more. Literally throw this one card into your deck and you have everything you need covered. Skeletons, similarly, are going to be either S tier or A tier. There's just so much value you can get for the one elixir skeleton. Pump definitely needs a rework or buff. Very, very weak card in the game. Mortar is average or good. Tombstone, average good. Road Delivery is average good. Skeleton Army, average good. Lightning round over here, guys. Spear Goblins. You know what? Spear Goblins? Where do you guys go? Right here? Spear Goblins are strong. They're definitely strong. Lots of the fast cycle cards in the game right now are strong. They got air defense, they got swarm that can be used as a distraction against things like princes or Pekkas, and they're 2 elixir, so basically you're always guaranteed value. Inferno Tower is going to be average good over here. Balloon, oh my goodness, the Balloon, the Beastie Boy over here, S tier. Balloon, in my opinion, is the single strongest win condition in the game right now. Think of it this way. It costs the same elixir as a giant, but drops a bomb on death that'll destroy your entire push and almost hits for 1,000 damage per shot. And because it flies, it has a higher chance of ignoring enemy defenses. So the Balloon is, in my opinion, the single strongest win condition in the entire game. Very, very strong card. Next we have Giant, going to be B tier, average good. Minion Horde is below average. Can be punishing in certain scenarios, but otherwise is very, very hard to get value for. Princess is average good. Royal Hogs, I would say, belong on A tier. Snowball, same thing, is an A tier spell. Especially with all the balloons in the meta right now, having that extra knockback and a small spell is very, very useful. Lava Hound is B tier good. Bandit, I think, is A tier. Bandit is a very, very punishing card, only costs 3 elixir, does so much damage if ignored. Even just one dash from a 1 health bandit can be very, very punishing onto your tower. Royal Recruits, B tier, average in my opinion. Royal Delivery, are you in here twice? You're still B tier, buddy. You're still B tier. Don't try again. Bomber is B tier. Elite Barbarians are unfortunately C tier. Remember back when they bought the Elite Barbarians and everyone, myself included, was all over YouTube like, Elite Barbarians are broken. Well, actually, they're kind of just an average, below average card. Baby Dragon could be another A tier card. An argument could be made that Baby Dragon is S tier, but I think just there's a few things holding it back right now. And I think in the current meta, at least, the Baby Dragon is an A tier card, namely the Hunter is just a better alternative. Like does splash damage still, but also has high DPS if you need it to. Lumberjack is going to be B tier average good. Flipping Dragons are B tier average good. Goblin Hut, below average for sure. Giant Smelly, B tier average good. Furnace, D tier. Skeleton Barrel I think is an A tier card for sure. Very, very punishing for the 3 elixir cost. Tesla Tower is B tier. Night Witch B tier. Wizard is C tier. Mega Minion, definitely going to be an A tier card, in my opinion. Goblin Cage, I would say, is A tier as well. We have the Rage Spell below average, and 3 Musketeers as a D tier card. 3 Musketeers just honestly have never been the same since they were redesigned. I think it was January 2019 that they were changed. Anyways, guys and girls, that is my tier list ranking. What do y'all think? Do you agree? Do you disagree with my list right here? Here are all of the cards currently in Clash Royale, in my opinion, ranked according to win rates, use rates, and my experience in the game right now. So let me know down below, guys and girls, what do you think? Obviously, your opinion might be different than mine if you are at a different trophy range or if you play challenges or whatever, because honestly, on mid-ladder, certain cards are very, very prominent and powerful. Things like Pekkas, Wizards, Mega Knights, stuff like that on mid-ladder are insane. But as you move up in ladder, certain other strategies start to excel. But I think overall, these cards up here, the S tier cards and the D tier cards, tend to be some of the strongest and weakest cards in the entire game. So anyways, guys and girls, that's the end of the video. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and we shall see you in the next one.